And I don't want to steal anyone's thunder for the contest tonight either, but I had to pull out my favorite Jefferson quote. And I have to read it because this one's really long. This is from a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to this gentleman named Samuel Kercheval. And I actually spent some time trying to figure out who this guy Samuel Kercheval is. Best I can tell, he was another gentleman who lived in Virginia. He actually ran an unsuccessful congressional campaign in the 1820s, but he and Thomas Jefferson exchanged a lot of correspondence. And this is my favorite quote. "We must not let our rulers load us with perpetual debt. We must make our election between economy and liberty, or profusion and servitude. If we run into such debt as that we must be taxed in our meat and in our drink, in our necessaries, in our comforts, in our labors, in our amusements, for our callings and creeds, we will have no time to think, no means of calling our mismanagers to account, but be glad to obtain subsistence by hiring ourselves to rivet their chains on the necks of our fellow sufferers." And this is the tendency of all human governments. A departure from principle in one instance becomes precedent for another, till the bulk of society is reduced to a mere automatons of misery, and the forehorse of this frightful team is public debt. Taxation follows that, and in its train, wretchedness and depression. That's kind of where we are, from where I see it. And as we sail into tax day on April 15th, and we think about the thousands of people who have willingly signed up to oppress us all through enforcing an income tax code, when you think about property rights, and you think about what it means to have control over your own property, there's no property in the world that's more intimate than your time. When you give up your time, you've given up that many hours of your life. And for the government, for example, to assume that it has the claim to tax you on your time, your labor, your actual life, in my mind, is just immoral. These are issues that we need to advance, and we must advance if we wish to leave a world that our children can inherit. Because the imbalances are just too great. And I know that if Thomas Jefferson were alive today, that he would not be trying to necessarily live within the boundaries that have been established by the two-party system, but he would be working tirelessly and advocating for change, certainly within it, but not taking any prisoners and not toning down rhetoric just to get elected. So I think that's the challenge that we all have as we reach out within our communities and start to build the bridges and let people understand that we need to stop making false choices, and we need to stop letting our dialogue be defined by the labels that are applied to us through the mainstream media, but reframe the dialogue in terms of liberty versus tyranny, and understand that it's the Jeffersonians and the Hamiltonians. It's the same game that's been played since the beginning of our country's founding. We've just changed the names a little bit. Thank you very much for coming out this evening, and I appreciate everything you've done to set this up, sir.